Well. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Rounders tonight from Rounders Card Club in San Antonio, Texas. I am Rude, and hanging with me tonight is Drew Gonzalez, better known as Bet on Drew. What's up, Drew?
Hello, Rude. What's going on, brother? It's good to be here with you again tonight for this
Yes,
200K final table.
that's what we got going on. That's what we just swooped in on. We've got the $200,000 guarantee final table of the Mystery Bounty tournament that we've got going on here at Rounders. And we are joining them just a couple of hands into the final table. We've got 9 players left out of 1,796 entries. How about those numbers? Imagine everything that they had to go through, all the minefields they had to get through just to get to this point. Yeah, so these are the final 9 people standing.
Yep.
We'll go around the table as soon as this hand ends. We've got a Broadway board, and only one player has a Broadway card in his hand. That's Dennis in seat 1. He's got 10-9 suited with bottom pair.
Tough board to really do too much with this 10-9, but fortunately, if he did throw out a bet here, he's going to just win this a lot here versus these other two hands.
Yep, and you're right. That's exactly what happened. So there we have. I'm going to go around quickly around the table. Got our guy number 7, Deuce, in the box here dealing for us. But Dennis took down that pot in seat 1. Dennis Cesario in seat 1. He started the final table with just over 10 million chips. Seat 2 with 18.6 million chips as Timothy Hatter. In seat 3 is Nathaniel Cozy, just out of screen there. He had, what did he have? Oh, Nathaniel has a good stack. He's got 22 million chips here arriving at the final table. And on his left, seat 4. Let's see, the action's on Dennis right now. Under the gun, King 7 offsuit. Yeah,
Thinking
the
about a
more
raise, huh, Rude?
the more I watch this, the more I realize I'm doing things wrong.
Looking at the King 7 suited or King 7 raise, you mean?
The King 7 under the gun, the guy's on the final table. Oh, maybe he
Mm.
didn't know he was under the. It was his turn. Okay. Anyway, there, Laser is in seat 4. Laser Hausman. He is the chip leader, 29 million chips. Seat 5 with just about 12 million chips is Juan Rendon. Seat 6, Tien Lee. Alex Lopez, the action's on him, or just past him. Alex has been on the final table. He has started with 11 million chips. Seat 8 is Paul Cartwright, 13 million chips. Seat 9, Stephen LeBron, 12.4 million chips. So these are your final table lists.
So looking around the chip stacks here, Rude, Laser with about 50 bigs, and then we have Nate second in chips with a little over 30 blinds. Then everyone else is under, well, one player, third place is under 30, and then everyone else is under 15 blinds, which
Mhm.
is, I think, pretty normal for a free roll tournament like this, right?
Well, yeah, I was going to say the average chip stack was 14 million chips. So yeah, you're talking about 15 big blinds for most of the guys at the table, which seems like there's a bit of pressure. 15 big blinds. There's not a whole lot of play, so you can't really just sit around and wait for prime cards. You're going to have to get in there and mix it up a bit.
Yeah, that's for sure true. And still, with that said, I do think there are some nice short stack tactics to do in situations like this when you do get deep in a tournament, including the final table. Looks like Paul's coming in for a limp on the button with the Jack 10. I like this. I like this limp, Rude. You know what it does is it could be trappy, but also it allows for you to see some cheap pots versus some short stacked opponents, which allows you more room to navigate post flop. So I like this limp.
He's in position. Yep, on
Mhm.
the button as you mentioned. So he's got he's got a little bit of time to see what everybody does in front of him. So yeah, did we mention the blinds? 350, 700?
Yep, 700K big blind right now. So blinds
Mm-hmm.
are big.
Oh, monotone, king 2-3. Nobody with a king. Dennis has a 10 of clubs in his hand.
Let's see if he stabs. I think kind of the 1-2 play here with limping the button, especially if you cover the players in the blind or have a threatening stack, is going to be to bet. And it looks like he is going to go with the check. Another scary card. Let's see if our button limper here, Paul, finds a bet versus what I imagine to be a couple of checks.
In this formation, you've got the small blind, big blind, and the button are the only ones in this hand. Of the three, I kind of feel like the small blind is the only one who could really rep any of either the ace or the king. But the button is going to go ahead and sprinkle out a little offering there. It looks like about 900,000,
Nine.
925.
Yep, looks like it. And this is going to put Dennis here in a tough spot. Dennis is going to find the fold. So I like this play. I like this button limp. I like I'm sure there were intentions. I'm stabbing at some point. You get double check two on that board, Rude,
Yeah.
versus two stacks who have to make decisions for a lot of their chips. I like that play a lot.
Yeah. Let me see where you what you into right now, Drew. Let me take a look at you.
Take a look at me.
There you are. Okay.
What's
What's
going
up,
on?
buddy? Let's see. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't mind telling you, Drew, that seat 8 and 9 were two people on my table when I was in day 2, believe
Okay,
it or
so you
not.
got some history with seats 8 and 9.
I got a little burn in there today. Yep, 8 and 9. They did number 8. Paul really was very deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
Took his time on just about every decision, I felt like. And LeBron in seat 9 was very good player, very fortuitous run out or action, big hand over big hand about 2 or 3 times while I was at the table. So he had a very healthy chip stack.
Looks like he
Um,
rode it to the final table here, so that's great, huh?
yeah, there's a 1 point. He's bringing in on the button 1.5 million is his bet. So just a little over 2x.
I like this on the button with the king 10 off. He's got one of the middling chip stacks, and the big chip stack laser has already folded out. And a big blind with a nice defend here, a7 off. I think pretty normal. I think it could get a little aggressive if you wanted to put in a 3-bet there.
Gut shot, straight draw for LeBron. Backdoor clubs for Timothy. Timothy's first with ace high.
LeBron should take this down with a small bet. It looks like
Let's
he
see
put
that.
out a million potentially. I think we've got two purples out there. 1.5 and a snap fold from the big blind. So very nice, very nice. And Rude, now this tournament was massive. We had like 1,700 runners in it, I believe, right?
Yeah, 1796, just under 1800 entries in this thing.
And you
And
did make day two, right? You and Uncle Chad made day two, but you busted out maybe 40 something. Chad, maybe a little bit after that.
yeah, I think Chad actually, I went out in 48th. I think Chad was 46th, right in there. Um, but I'll tell you, man, it was a pretty strong field out there, believe it or not. Uh, don't let the free roll name fool you. There's some guys out there that can play.
I believe it. And I think they were probably incentivized to play this because of the big mystery bounty, the 20K, the
Absolutely.
10K. And by the way, we got to give a quick shout out the last final table that we streamed, the 100K final table. A lot of people know him, El Nino. He final tabled. He was sitting in seat 5 last tournament stream. He ended up pulling the big bounty, the 20K bounty,
That's right.
which everybody was going for it. And I think it was down to the last 2 or 3 tables when that bounty was pulled. So just a amazing, amazing pull there. What everybody dreams for.
That's right. Yeah, everybody was gunning for that. We had some very good, very significant bounties in play. The top bounty, as you mentioned, $20,000 We had a $10,000 bounty. We had we had two $5,000 bounties,
Hmm.
and we had four $3,000 bounties, and then it goes down. We have several 2,000s, 1,500, and all the way down. But yeah, that there were. I don't even know how many total bounties there were. I guess the number is known because we know how many people. I don't remember how many people returned for day two. What was it, like 140?
125.
125.
125.
So I
125.
guess we had 124 bounties, and of the big bounties, there were six big bounties left when George pulled that big one, the 20,000. I happened to be standing right next to him when he pulled it, and he was hyped, boy.
I would be too. Playing a so the buy-in actually, Pot Genius wants to know here in the chat. What's up, chat? Wants to know what was the buy-in? So $30 admin fee, but it is a quote unquote free roll. So you don't pay your first buy-in, you just pay your admin fee, and then you're in the tournament. But while you're at the table, you can add on and rebuy $20. There is a limitation to it, but that's how that works. And now,
Yep.
Rude, we got a all in here. It looks like the end, all in with the king jack suited. Then Alex in seat 7 has less than 10 bigs. What do you think about this king 10 of diamonds?
I gotta tell you, I think it's just way too wide to really and truly contemplate a call here. With he's got him covered. It's not like the 20,000 bounty is in place still. There's $20,000 up top for first place. So really, I think you got to try to. I mean, first place is what you want to go for now.
For sure, for sure. I know the 20K is gone, the 10K. I'm not sure what remaining bounties are left. Maybe we could look into that because that does play a huge decision or a huge part in our decision making in the spot. Because, for instance, if there's still a 20K bounty left, for instance, you're looking at a short stack all in here. Alex might be thinking about just reshoving all in with his 7.6 million chips, trying to box out the end and hopefully pull a big bounty.
He's taking his time with this. You can't fault him for that.
No, definitely not. And it's really tough because there is still 4 or 5 players behind to act. Actually, one, two, three, four, 6 players behind to
Yeah,
act here. So this
right.
is really tough spot to, especially I think 7.6 million is not the shortest stack. Obviously, at the end here is a shorter
Oh
stack, but
my
it looks like he puts
goodness.
it
He
in.
makes the call.
Just makes the call,
Maybe
leaves
this is
leaves some
a
for the road. 2.8 mil.
favorite hand or something. I don't know.
Alrighty, let's see here. Turbo folds, king 10 suited, gotta love that. And it looks like our chip leader Laser is going to fold, and we're going to be heads up, Rude. King Jack suited versus the King 10 of diamonds.
I don't know if you caught Laser's face when they turned the cards up.
So he
He
he was
made
he
a
was surprised to see it, right?
yeah, he was very surprised when the hands turned up.
And we are. I was going to say, Rude, we're off to the races, but this isn't quite a race. Big favorite for at the end.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Wow,
goodness. A open
10 on the
ender
flop.
versus a middle pair. Golly. He's
Wow,
oh,
look at
almost
that.
back in front. I don't know what the not over yet. I would have bought a 9. Okay, now it's over. King
And it's going to
Jack is
double
gonna
up.
win that, take that one down there. That's gonna give him some breathing room. Tian Lee is gonna double up, more than double up.
This might put the end up in third or fourth in chips. That's how close the stacks are right now.
Tien is now up to 11 million. I'm not sure that I don't know if that's right.
I think so.
Okay.
Right around there. Yep. All right, now Alex, after calling off with the king ten of diamonds, now he's going to be in +1 with 2.8 million chips, 4 blinds. See how wide he's going to decide to go. Looks like he's got folding formation right now.
4 big blinds.
Yep, he does make the fold. I like LeBron's picture there with the bow tie. Gotta respect it.
I gotta tell you, the man he wore that hat askew on his head the whole day.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Of course, Bubbles, we know you're here for Team Laser. How are you?
Bubbles. Hi, Bubbles.
Tiny Bubbles.
I miss Bubbles. I haven't seen her in a minute.
Yep, she's been floating around.
So Timothy raised to 2 million with the ace 3, and now Juan has 10.3 million. And it looks like Juan is going to
Did you make the call? He just called.
make the call. All right, we're going heads up here.
Ace Jack versus Ace 3, heads up. Oh, bottom pair. Bottom pair for Timothy in seat 2.
Timothy continues for 2 million into 5 million. And now this is the thing, when you flat ace jack, I think a lot of players are going to be over c-betting this type of board. So it looks like Juan might think he has the best hand. Thing is, how do you proceed to a 2 million bet when you get 9 million behind?
Yeah, it's a significant portion of your stack. And since he didn't 3-bet, I don't know. It's a tough one. That
Yep.
board there, that 8-3-6 doesn't really favor the pre-flop aggressor's range, but yet it hit it.
Yep. Sure. So we got some table banter coming in here, everyone. Final table. Here are the payouts if you did not see them yet. We have first place is going to take home $20,000. Second's going to get 12.5. Third is going to get 8.5, with the first person busting out getting $2,040.
Keep in mind, everybody, those are payouts for the free roll. I mean, some people got in there and they paid, anywhere between $30, maybe $100, depending on how many times they rebought or they added on. I'm not talking about the number of bullets that they bought in for, but when I made day 2, I just got in for 12,000 chips. I ran it up, and I did take the add-on, ran it up to 891,000 chips.
That's pretty impressive, Rude. I was minimum in there for $150, I think, every time I played.
Raise 1.4.
Laser going to open the button here with the 9-6 suited and a big chip lead.
And a call.
Yeah, I don't mind telling you guys, if you aren't familiar with Laser, he is a rounders regular. He knows his way around the tournament table. He's played lots of tournaments. He's been on some final tables before. You give that guy more chips than everyone else, and it's going to be tough to overcome that.
Small bet incoming here from Laser. He understands this board texture, as you're just saying there, Rude. He's been around a poker table before. Looks like he bet 700K, and that's really all you need to do on these.
Isn't that Drew? That's like 1/5 the pot.
Yep, and it's an amazing bet. It's honestly, it's really a high level bet. Just understanding this board texture. It's 9-3-3. There's no draws. Your opponent just defended big blind. They're not going to have a lot of 3x. And Laser actually is going to have, I think, quite a bit of 3x as chip leader opening button. So it's just a really nice spot to get a inexpensive bluff through. If you do have a really strong hand, it's easy to balance. You just bet small as well.
You printed that for Nathan's party.
So nice hand here, Laser. He extends his chip lead up to 35 million.
Gets a little love from the rail.
I'll take the odds right now.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
10,000. Let's bet.
What's up there, Mr. 4Bet in the Twitch chat? Good to see you out there. How is it going?
Mr. Nino, George Nino's in the chat.
George, Mr. 20K, his new nickname.
Mr. Bounty.
20K George over here. Congrats on the big bounty pull, El Nino.
Can you call love with the
Big pull. That was a big pull.
Oh wow, he's already calling himself Mr. Bounty in the house. Maybe we shouldn't gas him up too much. I gotta say, Rude, I do love Gentleman C8's jacket. Caught my eye. I like the colors, the
Yeah.
diversity of it.
He didn't say more than 3 words the whole. I mean, I probably sat with him for, I don't know, 6 hours or so. Very quiet, very deliberate in his actions.
Nate coming in with the raise and the hijack with the ace-9 off. One of our bigger stacks. And then we got our short stack. Alex has a suited jack 3 with 2 blinds behind.
But a raise in front of him, he does make the call.
Yes.
So that's going to leave him with,
1 blind behind.
yeah, less than a blind.
Going for the stop and go. I don't know if it's going to work versus Nate's stack size. So pretty much Nate is going to be calling any bet on this flop, regardless of what comes out. Let's see if Alex gets lucky.
Looking for some hearts or a jack. Oh, he gets his jack, so he thinks he's good. But
Yep.
he's got to go with it.
Yep. Snap call. And let's see how Alex can do. Otherwise, if Alex cannot improve his jack 3 suited, he is going to be our first eliminated.
Backdoor clubs, get backdoor hearts.
Oh, that wasn't a heart, so now he needs a jack or a 3. That's a 9, so ace-9 is going to take care of Mr. Alex.
GG's to Alex. Going to bust out here. 9th. Not too shabby, though. Rude. It always hurts getting this deep and at a final table, right? And then busting out 9th.
For sure. 9th place is going to get him $2,040. That's going to be the end of the road for Alex. Mr. Lopez. And now there are 8. Drew, let me bring you in just for a second. We're going to talk about that stop and go that you mentioned there. He was in the big blind with jack 3, and it was 1.5 million, right? So it was just over 2x his big blind. He's already in for 700,000. What are your thoughts on calling that raise versus go ahead and sticking it in, jamming?
I mean, essentially, it's the same thing, honestly, at the end of the day, because you're not going to get any folds post-flop. Traditionally, the way the stop and go works is you do flat a marginal hand off of a shorter stack, hoping then to go all in on a lot of flops. But having enough chips is the key in order to, on that flop, push your opponent out, where he just didn't have enough chips to put him out. He hit a pair, he's going with it, and now he's out.
Yeah, the problem is he has absolutely no fold equity once he just makes the call with 800,000 behind. No, sorry, it was only 600,000, I think, behind.
Yep, 1 blind. He had 1 blind behind. Yep.
So
we got a nice hand here for Juan. He's got the queen 10 suited. Coming in for a raise. Blinds have gone up.
Blinds are 400, 800.
Correct. 800K big blind. So we got a little over a min raise. Actually, no. Looks like he's going 3x open.
Oh, just over 3x.
Yeah, just over 3x in the cutoff.
Which I kind of like. I kind of like that with this. This is a hand there. You know, it's easily dominated. It's a speculative hand, so it's not super strong. He is on the button. So he's looking to take the pot down pre-flop. He doesn't want. Yep, he gets it. Sorry, he wasn't on the button. He was under the gun. Or sorry, what am I saying? Cut off.
Right. Right. We got a good question here, Rude. I'm going to bring this in from one of our viewers in the chat. Pot Genius on Twitch wants to know, could he ever just fold Jack 3 there, or was he pot committed?
No.
What do you think, Rude?
Greg, grab
I
it.
think that with Jack 3, the suited Jack, I think it's a mandatory jam. I really don't think that he. So the answer is yes. He's pot committed. I
Mhm.
don't think that. I'm not sure. Like you said, it's the same thing. Calling or jamming are virtually the same thing. He's going to get
Yeah.
called either way, and I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
think he
with
can
you.
fold once he's that low. And it's not a bad hand. I mean, it's not the best, but it's a suited, couple of cards.
Yep. Yep, I'm all in there with you as well. It's just at that point, the pot is too big. Your head's up. It's kind of a dream situation. You look down at a suited single Broadway hand. It looks like aces in that moment, Rude.
Yeah, listen. I mean, in that situation where he's got two big blinds, and he's in the, he's in a big blind. He's in ninth place, right? He can only go up from there, so you got to go for it. Take a swing.
Let's see if LeBron wants to take a swing at Paul's limp, and he does not. 6-4 suited is a hand I personally would have raised in the big blind. Offsuit hand versus the small blind limp. I think check is good as well.
Queen 4-5. It's a rainbow flop. LeBron with bottom pair.
1 million.
There are some good turn cards here, Rude, for Paul, but at this stack depth, does he want to call a million chip bet here?
I can tell you it's likely that he's going to think about it for a while and then fold.
Well, he did grab the chips, so now
I
I'm
saw that.
starting to believe.
I almost stopped my my prognostication, but after playing with him for a number of
Yeah, that was
hours,
a 200.
this is kind of typical
There's a
of his. He comes with the call. All right.
Understandable. There are a lot of good turn cards here. Paul's going to be looking for a 10, a king, a diamond, a jack. He doesn't know that the jack would be good.
And now if you're LeBron's in LeBron's spot here, kind of wondering, what did Paul call me with?
I think one thing's for sure, Rude. I think he's thinking about how much he's going to bet.
You see how that was an automatic bet? It's just like as soon as Paul checked, he immediately went to bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Paul's trying to get a live read from him. Not the best turn card for Paul.
Definitely not what he was looking for. This is just going to be a give up. Like I said, he's just looking for anything that improves his Jack 9 of diamonds hand. I'd be very surprised if Paul does anything other than fold.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. But you're right. He did have some backdoor possibilities. I definitely could see, and he shows that he had a pair.
LeBron says, I'm not dunking on you. He's like, I had it.
Not exactly an oop. Yeah, a little something he was working with. Laser extending his lead just a bit. He's at 35 million, our chip leader.
Speaking of
And
Laser,
Dennis in seat 1 is at 7 million. Go ahead, Drew.
no, we got Miss Gracie Sanchez in the chat says, good luck, Laser. Thanks, Gracie, for watching us today. Hope you're having a good weekend.
Right, I forgot that you had that girl go pull bounty for you.
Chrissy's in there shouting out for Juan, her cousin.
the same one that was pulling for
Let's go, Juan. You got fans watching.
Was it Nina?
No.
But she pulled 3 of the dollar signs.
Yeah. He did. Saying the girls are just lucky, bro, in the pool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get another girl from the room to just come and pull and get another
Five-fold.
It's been done right there. Too.
Laser coming in with the raise with the 6-5 suited.
What's the worst that happens? That's what I'm saying. You get a
10 with a
200.
pair of fours
I mean, it could have been a one.
makes the
They're a
call.
little luckier.
Now, see, this is going to be really difficult to navigate for at the end post flop. Calling off of 10 big blinds to the chip leader open. I think that fours are going to benefit more from just going all in, especially in the cutoff. It's not like Lazar is opening under the gun or anything.
Right.
But now, Paul here, also going to make the call. Oh, geez, rude. What
this
do you
is
do with King
interesting.
Queen suited here?
With this situation here where they're just 2x and then 3 calls, I mean, this is a squeeze possibility right here.
This
He's
is a
blocking
LeBron
ace
spot. Dunk this, LeBron.
king. No, he's just going to make the call.
Oh,
From the
such a
small
sick
blind
spot.
too.
Sick spot for the King Queen suited to rip. We got some spicy calls here.
What's Dennis calling with? Oh, okay, 8-9 offsuit. So we're going to be 5 ways to the flop here. There's 9 million chips in the middle. My goodness, this could be a game changer for somebody.
This is a big pot here. 5 ways too.
10, 5, 3. It's an uncoordinated board. One club. It's a rainbow.
Laser has the lead. This is an interesting spot. I want to see what Laser's going to do here. I think a small bet out of position here as chip leader would be really cool. It'll narrow the field. He might even take it down pre, and some players are going to overfold a 5 here that could have a better kicker than Lasers. And he does go for the bet. 2 million into about 9 million. And let's see the stacks behind. He would be committed to Dennis if Dennis were to go all in. But past that, he can get away from everyone else relatively inexpensively.
Look at Tien. See, this is what you were talking about. It's a really awkward spot with fours. It's like you either hit a set or you're out.
Exactly. This is a better flop for fours, one of the better ones.
Yeah.
And it still can't even call one bet. Another spot for Paul where he's got a couple of back doors, but again, he just can't really call. And this is why, Rude, I think that a bunch of these hands, the fours, the ace-7 suited on 11 bigs or 13 bigs at the start of the hand, the king-queen suited would have all loved to just jam over the chip leaders open with all of those flats behind, which we know are not traps, right?
Yeah. The stack sizes tell you that they're not trapping. And Laser's going to take that one down again.
That's
With
a
just
huge pot.
That's a big pickup. He adds 8 million chips to his stack, extending his lead. He's working on doubling up second place.
He's in a great spot, Rude. He's in a great spot right now. I love this. This is the real, true fun part of MTT poker is when you have a dominating chip stack, your opponent's backs are against the wall, and you can kind of do whatever you want.
And Nate's under the gun. He's going to fold king-9 offsuit. Look at this. The cards are coming, falling his way right now. Laser with ace-jack suited.
1.6.
Under the gun plus 1. 1.6 to go.
6 fold.
It's 2x. Raises it up. Matt San Antone in the chat says king-queen that LeBron should have just ripped it there.
Yeah, totally
Definitely
feel that.
could've.
Right there with you. Yep. Ooh, big hand here. LeBron's got 10s. He is sitting on sub 20 blinds.
Just makes the call.
3.2. Raise of 3.2.
No, you can.
Oh no, looks
Oh,
like
he raised.
Only
Okay.
raised 800,000 more. You can actually make it 2.4.
Yep, that's right.
No, you're right. It's 3.
Oh, yeah, Laser's got a
Correct, yeah.
good point there. Yep.
12 from 1, 12 from 2.
Good observation. The the question was, did LeBron make a legal raise when he made it 3 million? Laser made it
Is there another
1.6
stack behind
million.
the green one?
Yeah, there's a red.
So since
Right
Laser
there.
raised it
there's
800,000
raise.
over the big blind, his raise was 800,000.
Not
A
there.
legal raise was
I know it's lower, right?
800,000
Yeah.
more than
Okay.
Laser's, which would have been 2.4. So 3 million is legal. It is fine. Which
Laser. Yep.
works in Laser's favor because he gets a little bit has a little bit of room to work with, right? Ace Jack suited. It's not the best hand in the world, but you'd like to see a flop with it, wouldn't you?
Yep. And he's gonna get to.
Now, Drew, I want to ask you. Maybe we'll wait till the end of this hand.
3 million.
And that should do it. There,
Yeah, 3
really.
million into 8. Drew, let's talk about the 3-bet sizing there.
Mhm.
Okay. Completely would.
I didn't need to hit.
Well, I mean, that's
So
what I figured.
Laser made it. Laser
probably
raised it
needed that to hit
2x,
the flop.
and then
It's qualified.
I would just not
LeBron
want
just
two
did a
sides.
min click with 10s there.
Mhm.
Like
What do you think about the sizing there?
Needed-
Is that a
I
good
think his-
size? Could he have
Just
gone a
shot
little bit
hard.
larger?
not even
I think he
20.
could have definitely gone larger because basically when he makes it 3 million there and Laser's already made it 1.6 million, he's not going to be pushing him out with almost any hands that he has with how many
No,
chips
it's
he
queens.
has.
I've gone
So
out
what he's doing
with
is building a
ace-jack
pot
against
and
ace-jack.
hoping
That's how
to
bad
not
ace-jack
have a
is.
difficult
That's the worst.
situation to navigate on
I
the
could
flop.
hold.
And he got really
No,
lucky.
we've
7 high
lost
flop.
shit ton of
That's an easy situation to
I've lost
navigate.
more
Bet
than
3
I've
Right.
million.
My bad, guys.
And then
Let's say it's a
call
queen
off.
high flop though.
I'm telling you,
Queen high flop, he's
I
probably
lost
still going to
ace-jack
bet and
to
hope to take
ace-jack.
it down, but
It's a
then
runner
going to
flush.
be in some real dodgy situations on the turn.
Check 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
In 4 different combos.
I feel like on that situation with 10s, they are susceptible. They can, you don't want to see more than one overcard. You don't want to see any overcards, ideally. But you'd rather. I think you'd want to tax the guy a little bit. I think you want to charge him a little bit more to come in and see the flop.
I think the thing is, if you don't want to put in a normal size 3-bet, you don't want to 3-bet shove your 20 big blinds there, then you can just call if you want to control the size of the pot. That'll allow for him to navigate easier post flop versus making the pot 8 million chips or 8 million chips there, and then now forcing himself to have to see bet bigger, have to call bigger bets. But it did work out.
Yep.
And now we got LeBron with 6s again, raises it up. Nate with queens. Looks like he
Nate makes it 3.5. 3.5 million to go. Now action's back to LeBron with 6s. He's flipping with virtually everything, most cards in the deck. Tough hand to play post flop. I don't mind that fold at all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the best play a lot of the time.
Hey, Dan. Can you call
We
service,
have
please?
not seen Nate get out of line yet, played too many hands. And he was definitely not trying to push LeBron out of that pot. Good fold by LeBron.
Yeah, the other thing is, you don't want to play such a high variance style if you feel you have an edge over most of the field, right? If you
Yep.
feel that you can kind of outplay, you still got some chips, you're not super short stacked. In situations where, like on the 6s, he could have just jammed, gone all in, right? Of course, he would have been in bad shape, but you don't have to. You can wait until a situation arises that it's got a little bit more clarity.
Yeah, and there's a few short stacks below LeBron now. So stack preservation is going to be on their mind, his mind. He gets another nice one to raise, though, the 10-9 suited.
1.6.
Everybody else okay?
Laser definitely making the call with the suited hand and the chip lead. He's got the best hand. Big flop for LeBron. Flops an open-ended. 4.4 million in the middle.
Take a look at the equities. If you notice, LeBron actually has more equity in this hand right now, 56% versus Laser's 44, even though Laser is currently winning with Queen high. It's just with the open-ended straight draw that he's got gives him a lot of equity in that hand.
Yep.
And he uses it, so good on him. Got to keep an eye out for this guy. I haven't seen LeBron around. I wonder if he's anybody in the chat. Do you guys know is LeBron a local? Let us know.
LeBron is now third in chips.
There
So
he
he's in a
goes,
very, very nice situation.
working his way up there.
I like this. LeBron looks down at the ace-5, and I think nope. I thought he was going to continue the aggression. Not getting too much resistance. He did get 3-bet once from the queens, folded the sixes.
Here's Nate, ace queen suited. Raised to 1.3. Sorry, 1.7. Strike that.
I'll take a water.
Juan suited queen 3. He's got 400. He's got 800 in there now. Gonna make the call.
All right, we're going heads up. Nate's got a monster. I see we got some Juan fans in the chat. Edwin the Fluffy says rooting for Juan R. Best wishes from friend at the office. Thanks for watching there, Edwin.
Mr. Fluffy, thanks for stopping in. Continuation bet by Nate in the amount of?
Looks like 2.2 is my guess.
I think you're right. 2.2 into 4.3, was it? 4.6.
Yep.
Not much there for Juan to work with. I mean, it would just
Definitely
be a
not.
stone cold bluff, so I think he's just going to let it go.
Easy
Repping the Texas
fold.
Rangers.
Easy fold there with an 8 million chip stack. And Nate, the rich get richer. Our big stacks continue to stack the chips outside of LeBron, who has now become one of our big stacks. Everyone else, though, just looking for their moments, which is how tournament poker goes sometimes. You know, Rude, it's always interesting to think about the fact that tournaments, the only poker that you can play where folding is going to make you money. Cash games, that's not a thing.
It's true. That's true. There are ICM considerations that you have to work with, and you can ladder up by letting other people fight it out.
I think we just saw LeBron fold the king 10 suited. A little bit surprising, but he is in earlier position. Nate comes in with the raise with the king 9 suited for a little over the min. And then Juan's got another situation here where I'm noticing players at our final table making some calls, but this is another nice potential spot for a jam, sitting on 10 bigs. Again, it's just going to be really awkward if you just flat, you miss 2/3 of the time. I like the fold better than the flat. What about you, Rude?
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I like the fold better than the flat, or he could possibly raise. but it'd have to be a chunky raise. He's blocking ace king. He's suited, so he's got some,
I know, yeah.
in case he gets called.
Yeah, they were.
But anyway, I would, in that situation, depending on how you feel versus the other players, I'd probably make the fold there also.
Nate with the open-ended on the turn is going to bet again. And Thien has the size of the pot.
Oh, look at this. Top
Yep.
pair for Tien. Jams, called by Nate.
We got one card to go. If Thien can fade the straight draw and a king, it will not
He
bust.
does.
It's got a
Tens and
nice
sevens
stack.
for Tien.
Nice stack now. 14 million chips for Thien.
That's twice he's doubled up at the final table.
And Nate's got 24 million. So he's still in a very nice chip position, sitting on 30 bigs.
I have it on good authority from Juan Martinez that LeBron is from New York and Florida. New York, Florida area. I'm not that good with my geography, but I didn't know those were close to each other.
Mizzy in the chat wants to know what's up top in this tournament, and we will show you the
Great
payouts
question.
right now.
Big bucks.
Big bucks. This is a free roll tournament. So what that means here in Texas is you do not have to pay for your initial stack. You just have to pay the administrative fee. So 30 bucks, and now 8 players left at this final table battling it out for the 20K first place prize. Second is 12.5K, and third is 8.5K.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad. They've all locked up 2,400 bucks.
Dennis folds his jack 8.
Four fold. 5 fold. 6 call.
The end just calls small blind. This is a spot here I am going to be putting a lot of pressure on the big blind with them only having 10 bigs. I don't really want to give my opponent a shot at some free cards.
Interesting to wonder, just kind of speculate what Tien was doing by just completing. Is he hoping to entice a raise? It's possible.
Potentially.
Jack 4-3, 2 clubs on the flop. Backdoor clubs for Tien. Not the best flop for Paul. So again, Tien just checks, just playing it passively. I'd like to see Paul bet and see what Tien does, but he checks behind. King of Spades brings the second flush draw on the board.
Not much going on here for Paul in his 10-7 suited. So I imagine, there they go. They're going to go into the middle, but Rude, I will say, I think Paul had a shot on that flop with just his 10 high versus Thien, who had not shown any interest in the pot up to that point. I think he had a nice opportunity to take a stab and potentially win that pot on the flop.
Yeah, I'm curious though. I'm curious if he was playing next level, if Thien had some other intentions, if he was hoping that he could induce a stab from Paul, intending to call him, by with his ace. Just curious. I have a feeling he may have, but I don't know.
You know what? If I had to make some assumptions, Rude, being that this is likely the biggest free roll tournament that's ever run in Texas, maybe the world. I'm not familiar with this format outside of Texas. With the free roll, you just pay the admin fee and then, of course, rebuys. But I do think that a lot of newer players came out to fire this tournament due to the fact that the mystery bounties were huge. It was an inexpensive price point to have a shot at a 5-figure score. So, very well, some of these players at the final table could just be focusing on playing their cards for their value and just trying to make hands outlast some of the other opponents and continue to ladder.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. It is interesting to kind of just speculate and think about what is behind what they're thinking. You know, what's in their mind? What level? How many levels are they thinking on?
Totally agreed.
Anthony Davenport in the chat says that LeBron's family in New York. Anthony Davenport is a regular at Rounders.
What's up there, Anthony?
One of the fastest referees in these parts, I'll tell you that. Man is a basketball ref. A man can zoom up and down the court.
Juan is all in right now over Laser's Rays, who had the ace-8 suited, and Paul's having to think with the deuces here. We will see here shortly. Joshua Galvin in the chat says that Juan is going to get first place, calling it now. Joshua, he's going to have to survive this all-in first.
Okay, Drew, what's Paul going to do?
I think Paul is going to be folding here. I think he's just posturing because I think if I had to make some assumptions again here, Rude, I think Paul has had to fold a few hands. And I believe players, when they have to fold too many hands, especially if they're relatively newer to tournaments or big situations like this, there does become a point when a player's like, okay, that's it. I'm going to stick up for myself. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to take a stand. And potentially Paul's thinking, should I go for it here?
I gotta tell you,
win a
though,
flip?
just as a if there's anything that you ever take from what I say, I would not call with deuces. I'd rather be first in the pot. If you want to jam with them, that's fine. You want to raise with them, fine. But I don't know if you want to call a 3-bet
for your
or
tourney
4-bet.
life.
Yeah, for your
as
tourney
well.
life.
Yep.
I don't think you want to call or 4-bet jam. So Laser's got a suited ace. He is the pre-flop aggressor. He's got to figure. What's he doing this with? I mean, like, he's okay if he's got 7s, 6s, 5s, 4s, something like that. The thing is, he can easily be dominated. Does he really need to gamble? Does he, you know, $20,000 bounty has already been pulled. I don't know what the bounty size that are left, but a lot of the big ones have already been pulled. So Laser feels like he has an edge. My estimation is he probably does have an edge over the table, over most of the table, I'll say. If I'm here, if I find myself here and I've got all those things in my column, obviously not having seen what he has, I think I'm folding an ace-8. I think I'm folding an ace-10 even.
We'll just say
Even
even
if the cards are reversed, Drew, even if Laser has the ace-10 and Juan makes the raise with ace-8, I'd rather fold the ace-10 and lose to the ace-8. You know, let the ace-8 show me. What are your thoughts?
I think that as soon as Laser saw the all-in, he immediately went and did inventory. He wants to see how much of his stack he has to risk in order to call off, because Juan has 9 big blinds, and he does find the
There he
fold.
goes.
But
Yep.
But Juan had 9 big blinds there, and he is
I
jamming
know you
from
have me dominated.
the
I have a suited ace.
Coming
I
in,
was just
Drew.
trying to see if I had to
from
call because the bet
Juan is jamming
like
from the
it's
button
pretty
over
close.
cutoff. Juan is going to
I
be
didn't know because
like
I couldn't remember how to do the math. Right, so I
full
told you.
hands, small pair hands that he's flipping with. There's a chance that at that point, for how aggressive Blazers being, that opponents can just start deciding, you know what, I'm going for it with
ways, it's
any
still got
Ace X type of
60%.
holding.
Whereas with a hand like
And
kings,
yeah,
especially
Laser
a lot
decided
lower,
that he's
if
going to make
anybody
the
had an
fold
ace
there,
with
but
him,
it's
But like
very,
this board,
very
but I was
close, I
gonna,
think.
what I was gonna say was that there's no
Yeah,
bet that he's gonna love.
that's true. I think
The problem
that
is, like, this is one of the
he
most
said, I
lost
think we heard him as you and I were just kind of chatting on the side. We
hand
could
of
hear him
was,
saying, you know, he was doing the math and trying to figure it
this
out,
spot
and
when Alex
he
calls with
said he
3-bet
forgot
behind,
how to
you're not
do
feeling
the
super good
calculations.
here.
I'm
Mhm.
not sure
I mean,
exactly what
and Alex is
calculations
gonna
he was
flag a
using,
lot of
but
these hands. I think he
he's
would probably
figuring
call
out
with
what
even sets,
you know what the
and
what
Oh, yeah.
he
Alex
could
is just gonna
potentially be jamming there with,
here. And
and
Right.
how his hand is going to hold up to them
Yeah. No, I'd be hard pressed to see him
to
Yeah.
that range.
here.
Yep, exactly. And again, I think it's very on the cusp there if a Laser wants to call. I mean, for instance, if Laser had 100 million chips, just to set an example, and he's looking at calling 5 million chips, he's just going to call there with the ace 8 suited because he knows that he is doing perfectly fine versus a typical 9 big blind jam in that situation. The thing is, Laser had about 35 million chips, and the second place chip stack, I believe, has about 25 million. So if he
Closing in
calls
on
off
him.
that 5.8 mil, that brings him down to 29 million or so, and now he's sitting there with the other 2 players that have 20 million chip stacks, and it becomes a lot closer. So I ultimately think at the end, right before Laser did fold, it's a thought of, do I really need to go after this spot and kind of risk my cushion lead? He's like, maybe I could use these chips in another situation. I'll 3-bet one of the other stacks and utilize it that way, and be up against potentially a wider range, get more folds. So he decides to pass on this spot, but I like it.
Yeah. Have you ever folded the best hand in a tournament, Drew?
No, Rude. Actually, it's really funny. I was just going to say this earlier. I've actually never folded the best hand in tournament poker ever. So yeah, I make all the right calls. You know, my bluffs are perfectly timed. When I need
Guys,
people to fold, they
sometimes
fold.
you just
You
gotta
know.
let it go and move on to the next.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
better, especially in that situation. Again, I feel like I'm going to repeat myself because I am, but it bears repeating. If you feel you have an edge, it's better to just hang tight, just wait. You can work the system, play your hands in position. Um, you can bob and weave and take some jabs here and there, and then when things become so you have a little bit more clarity with your hand with the situation, then you can make a move.
Right. Right. So, Rude, it looks like our players are on a little break right now. So we are going to let them color up the chips. It's only going to be about 5 minutes, chat, but we are going to take a break ourselves, and we will see you back here very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, everyone. Looks like we are back into the action. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a great Sunday. We are 8-handed at the final table of this 200,000 guaranteed mystery bounty free roll. This tournament had multiple big bounties. The biggest one was a $20,000 bounty. And here are our payouts real quick from 1796 entrants. First place tonight is going to get $20,000, and players right now have locked up $2,500. As we come back from the break, we see Thien has Ace Jack at the 1 million big blind level, decides to make it 4 million.
That's a quarter of his stack, by the way.
Yep.
Look at all the aces in play. Dennis is going to jam with ace 3 offsuit from the big blind. Not unreasonable at all, considering the raise from Tien coming from the cutoff.
And it looks like Dennis just had 4 million behind or so. So it looks like Thien was just making sure he knew that we were doing it. And now cards are on their back. Dennis is going to need a 3 to stay alive. Now running cards can chop
More
it.
than a 3. Now. Oh, here we go. On his way.
Needs a 5 now only to save him.
So close. That's going to be the end of the road for Dennis.
It's the 3-liner.
Congratulations to Dennis.
A little too curvy.
Dennis going out in 8th place.
Thanks. Take care.
Yeah, have a nice day. Okay, one of those. Good luck.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Have a good one, sir. Thanks. Do I get one of those pinchos?
No.
Yeah.
Bounty or-
GG, Dennis.
You just put it right.
GG's Dennis. Gonna bust out in 8th place in this 200K mystery bounty. 8th place, good for $2,500. And now our remaining 7 players have locked up $3,000. As we return to the action, Laser in seat 4 is our current chip leader with a little over 30 million in chips. All right, looks like Timothy, I'm going to get a walk in the big
A
blind.
little walk.
In the flop before I.
Nothing not low.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're just
What-
joining us for the final table of the $200,000 mystery bounty guarantee
Yeah.
tournament, it's been a great run, great tournament. 26 day one flights, 1,800 players almost, and we're down to the final 9. We are down to the final 7 now. Alex was finished in 9th place, and Dennis just busted a couple of hands ago in 8th place. 7 players remain.
Let me have a look here. K Bruce in the chat wants to know any final table participants without a bounty. I'm curious. Let's see if we can find that out for you, K Bruce.
George Nino tossing us a softball, but we'll get to you in just a second, George. LeBron's got kings on the button. Blinds are 500,000, $1 million with $1 million ante or million chip ante. So 2.5 million in the middle pre-flop. LeBron's going to raise it up. Makes it 3.5. A little larger, little large.
Well, we do have a
Size
limp from
raised.
Juan.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Okay, thank you. Suited connectors for Juan.
Yeah, I mean, my eyesight's pretty bad, so I'm with it, but obviously, like, the number one thing is going back up certain colors. That's easy. So, like, as soon as you can think, oh, it's got
2.5 more for him to see the flop. Problem is, that's a quarter of his stack, his remaining stack.
I'm just used to playing on
Problem for
call.
some, but maybe not for Juan. Let's see what comes out on the
You
flop.
just get lazy because of that, and then you come play live, and you're like,
So Juan does hit his 5. Unfortunately, 2 overs on the flop. Not the best flop for LeBron with his kings. Always coming ace. I'm sure LeBron is thinking that a little bit.
If I'm gonna go full, devour that sandwich.
Braun coming with the C bet.
Looks like he's going to bet about half of Juan's stack. He does. 4 million chips. Seemingly not afraid of the ace.
Must be good shit. And wasn't they go full Philadelphia here and blow up on everybody? If it monetizes, can I get a cut? Yeah, that would be.
I think you got to talk to Drew.
Yeah.
Not me.
I figured.
I just don't like
Wants to go
Drew
viral.
with the purple hair.
An absolute in front of all the people watching.
Would be good content.
Juan trying to decide, and this is the problem here is even he limp calls, hits a pair, and you can't even call a bet when you hit one of your cards. You're just praying to flop incredibly strong so that you can continue and put the rest of your chips in the middle.
Oh yeah.
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 That said, I do like me some 4-5 suited, Rude. What about you?
Well, sure. I like it. You
Yeah, it
know,
worked out for me that one
it's a
time.
speculative hand. If it hits, win a lot of money. The thing, or
That's the
a lot of
key,
chips
yeah.
in this situation. The thing is, you got to understand when it's profitable to play those hands. You got to be deeper, or the effective stacks have to be pretty deep in order for those to be profitable plays.
Increment of I remember who it was. I was in the big one or something like that.
Yes, he's Juan's at he's under 8 million,
When they're not.
so he has 7.5 big blinds. So I guess it would have been about 10 big blinds when he made that decision. I don't think it's. I think there are better times you can do that.
I got laser. I'll still take the odd. What do y'all? A minus 1 second?
Looks like
there's some side betting going on.
With the chips.
Laser.
Brian looks like he's trying to
Brian.
get some side bets in.
Yeah. Hey, bro, do you mind stepping back behind the rail really quick just for the camera? Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Later, Brian.
Take your beer behind the rail.
Yeah. Oh, we almost lost him there for a second. There we go.
You're at 35 at the well.
Did I win a pot?
Yeah. Right there.
Yeah, but that was
One with lunch on it.
I feel you there, Johnny. Be good in the chat.
Hey, Dan.
Does not like the
You mind moving
4-5
that chair,
suited
since
with
I was
that
the
stack
camera
at the
shop?
final table.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna give him the move.
Understandable, makes sense. And now, though, Juan is in the big blind.
I don't think I played it.
Big blind is 2 million chips from his 7.5 million chips to start. The price of poker has gone up.
There we see Tien making the fold with ace-8 suited under the gun. 7-handed.
Tough one there. under
Yeah.
the gun, first to act. I think it's an easy open if the end was in a later position.
There's the king and then like the deuce.
Johnny Be Good wants to know how many bounties for the commentary.
And I get
Ugh.
that look like
Did you
I
get
got
any, Rude?
one.
You got
I
one?
got
Okay.
one.
I got none.
I did
so
my
that's
share.
that makes one for both of us then.
What's 1 plus 0, Johnny Be Good?
Interesting spot for Laser here with the 4-3 off in the small blind. I like the just call. He can just limp and stab any flop. And unfortunately, Juan has a massive hand. He's just going to put it all in, pick up the extra 500K. But I like where Laser's at with that, with the limp with the 4-5 off. So he doesn't have to put Juan all in. He could just call the additional 500K, and then pretty much as long as Juan does not go all in, Laser just bets at minimum on the flop and will take it down a lot of the time. 7-handed, our shortest stack is Paul in seat 8 with 7 bigs. Juan now, after taking down the blinds there, is back up to 8.5 million.
Action is on Paul, our short stack at the table with deuces. Now, this is where I think this is a great spot. Even though he's under the gun, he's got a pair, 6.7 million. It's gonna be a jam or a fold.
I think so, Rude. I'm with you there. It looks like he's got the all
Okay,
in.
there we go. I like it. Love to see it.
His second chance with the deuces. We saw him almost go with the deuces just a little bit ago. As we see one of his deuces going into the muck here from LeBron.
Now, I have to tell you, ordinarily, when there are bounties involved, you're going to see some calls in the situation with a little wider than you might ordinarily see.
Mm-hmm.
But with the bigger bounties already gone, okay, here we see Juan's going to make the call with ace-10 suited. He's just calling, which lets Tien have a decision.
Yep,
Gonna
Tien's
keep
got
him.
a nice hand, the Jack-10 suited, but to make the call, it would be about a third of his stack, maybe a little bit more than a third of his stack. But he does want to count.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if the N were to go all in, I wonder if Juan would fold to try to ladder with the 1.8 million chips behind. I wonder if that was part of his plan. And I say that because
Or just
there
call.
are there are situations where players will put in the majority of their chips at a final table and find folds in the event that
Now
another
he
player
does.
goes all in for ladders.
And Tien just calls.
The end just calls though. So wow, this is. I mean, the end I don't think can fold if Juan goes all in and the end has anything with 21 million in the middle.
No.
Juan's only got 1.8
It's
behind.
10-1. Neither player likes. Well, sorry, Juan likes to play, but Paul, the card, but Paul and Tien. Well, Tien is double. Oh, he's got a call. He's got a double gut shot.
1.8
Plus, it's
million
only
Rude.
2 million calling.
Yeah, 1.8 to win 23. He has to call. He does make the call. The end could have a double KO if we see the river come a 9 or a king. And we did see LeBron fold one of Paul's deuces. So Paul is drawing to a 1-outer on the river to stay alive.
And I saw the look on Tien's face when the cards turned up. He really feels like he's in bad shape, but really, he's not that bad.
No, not at all. Not at all. But right now, if a 9, king, or a deuce does not come on the river, And then Juan's going to ship a big pot.
Oh, it was a
Wow.
9, double knockout.
Wow, wow,
Tien
wow.
with the double
Rude.
knockout, 9 on the Riv.
Can't do nothing about it.
Crazy, crazy river there. And crazy hand, really, as well, with all the action, the flatting, everything that went down there. That was a crazy hand to see that 9 on the river. We are going to get a double KO.
Yeah, let's.
GG's in the chat for Juan and Paul C going to bust out. And as far as payouts go, Paul had less chips than Juan. So here's what's going to happen, everyone. Paul is going to take home the 7th place money, $3,000. Or no, yes, $3,000. Then 6th place money, the $3,600 is going to go to Juan. And we're now 5-handed, 4,200 locked up for our players.
Drew,
10:30.
what do you think about?
When I start falling asleep at the table, then we gotta.
What if Juan had played it differently? If he'd have just jammed rather than letting, or it's possible that that Tien would have called anyway. What if he just jams over the top?
I think if he jams that at the end at a non-0% of the time is going to fold. I think it's going to increase the amount of times he folds, but the just call, I don't think Tien knew how many chips Juan had behind either. So I think if he just hears the word all in, Tien would fold likely. But did not, made the call and got there. So huge spot there. Now we're down to 5-handed.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. A couple of big hands here versus 2 of our bigger stacks. Nate with the ace queen. Laser with
Again, we're
the
just
ace
5-handed.
9.
5-handed.
Laser makes the call on the button.
Because the winner also wins their own cup.
Oh, really?
Gonna play position. Looks like we got some people in the chat agreeing. Thinks that Tien folds if the ace-10 suited goes all in. I agree.
Yeah,
Tien did get
Joshua,
2 bounties there,
yep.
correct?
It's a double bounty knockout.
Hey, Dan, what? 1K.
There we hear Drew in the box clarifying with our tournament director Dan that there's the biggest bounty is $1,000.
All right, heads
Yep.
up, guys.
So pretty much battling for ladders, but of course, you know, that $1,000 bonus would be nice. Nobody's gonna say no to that.
Let's see how these guys proceed through this hand. Nate raised, pre-flop raiser. Laser 3-bet him, and Nate calls. Flop is 5-6-6. The paired board. Last time, Laser was the pre-flop aggressor in the situation. He bet about a fifth, 25%, 20% of the pot. This time he makes a 2 million chip bet into 14, so it's 1/7, even smaller this time.
What do you think of the check call there, Rude, by the ace queen?
Whew. Yeah, it's a tough. It's squirmy. I don't know. I mean, he's right. He's in the lead, but
Well, here's the thing. The ace queen, this is a real easy check call, in my opinion, in this spot. Laser is going to be betting here versus the check. He knows he has him dominated in chips, and he can put Nate in a ton of tough situations. But Nate also knows that that's what's going to happen. Nate pot controls flop, decides to check with the intentions of check calling. Now, here's where the real decision comes in, is what Laser decides to do on this turn. He picked up a gut shot. Some players might look to check here, but I do think that Laser knows that Nate is going to continue a lot of the top of his range here. His aces, his kings, all those strong hands that are over pairs to this board are going to continue. So when he checks, I really like this turn barrel by Laser, putting hands like this in a
Mhm.
tough situation. And with the other shorties out there, this is just going to put Nate in a real difficult situation. Even if Nate thinks he has the best hand, there's not too much he can do facing a 6 million chip bet for about half of his remaining chips.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what he had when I had king. When I had kings. Yeah, 4-5. He showed me $1 million rate. Oh, that. 3-4-5, 4-5 with ace high.
So Nate has done the
No,
inventory.
I put
It
it
looks
up
like
and
he
then
counted up his
he
purple
called
chips.
and
So those are
he
500K
called,
chips.
I called him, I called him.
And he understands that this is about half
did
of
it
his
perfectly.
remaining stack in order to make this call.
I'm like,
And he hasn't folded yet.
do you see the first hand? Oh,
Oh,
the first
And he-
hand played?
Makes the call, or is he all in here?
no, I think he's
4,
just calling.
6. Makes the call. Wow. What a call by Nate here with the best
This is
hand.
what I'm saying. This is so squirmy. It just makes you uneasy for both sides. Oh,
Wow.
9 on the river. Oh, he jams.
And then he
Nate
jams.
Nate goes all
Wow.
in front of Laser when Laser hits his card.
Now here's the thing, Rude. 7.8 million. Let's call it 8 million chips. 38 million chip pot. This is a
Oh, he folded.
sick jam by
Laser?
Nate. He doesn't even think about it either.
I think I
Before
heard
jamming.
Laser say, I think he flopped the full house.
Correct. Yep, he did say that. Wow, what a
Nate.
hand that was, chat. What do you think of that?
Nate the Great.
That was a real tough spot to navigate, Rude. Shout out to
Oof.
Nate. And he saw an opportunity on the river and decided to go for it when the straight came in. That said, I would have loved to see a deuce on the river and see what happens then, but we never will.
I think it would have been the same thing, Drew. I think he would have done the same thing, regardless of what came out. I mean, other than maybe a king. Anything.
And you can't really fault Laser for folding in that situation either. I like Laser's turn bet, and he does get there on the river. Had Nate checked, I think Laser checks too, and then gets to show down the winner. But incredible move on the river there.
My goodness.
Oh. It's 1 million. It says 500K, 1,000.
Ron here in the small blind going with the complete and stab. Going to get Timothy to fold
I saw
his
that
hand.
earlier. I was laughing at that.
Look at this. We got comment in the chat. Dan Kish says Nate the Great. After
Nate
that play, who's
kidding.
going to argue with you?
What number is that?
Golly.
The screen says 1,000K.
Updated chip counts. We've got Nate is now the chip leader, overtaking Laser, who falls into fourth. Nate's at 38 million.
Hieroglyphic number.
Deanna's is at 35 million. LeBron at 25. Laser's at 20.5, and Timothy at 14.3 million.
Yeah, I hate that.
Laser under the gun with the queen 9. Going to let it go. 5-handed. So players are going to have to start opening up their ranges a little bit, calling more, raising more, defending more, maybe even jamming more, especially as the blinds continue to go up.
How much you have behind?
Kings for Nate. Timothy limping in with king 6 offsuit. Nate happens to have a better kicker with his king. It's another king.
Looks like he makes it 4 million. And Timothy with the quick fold with the dominated king 6.
Trying to think of, remember a hand that Timothy has played. I think he played a hand.
Yeah, I don't think Timothy has had too many playable hands at this point.
Yeah, tough card distribution.
Still finds himself 5-handed. Locked up over $4,000. Somebody asked earlier, but the bounties in this tournament, the mystery bounties, ranged from $100 to $20,000.
Yeah. A lot more of the $100 variety than the $20,000 variety, by the way.
Too many, Rude, right? Too many.
Yeah. Well, I was fortunate. I got a $200 bounty, so they had
Oh,
some
wow,
of
look
those
at
too.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Non-min.
Doubling up on the min
I like
bounty.
that. So we see Nate fold the small blind to laser. And I still think that even though laser has dropped to 4 or 5 in chips, I still think with 20 blinds, he is in a good shape to still come back. I know a few players in the chat had said that they were rooting for laser, thought he had a good shot to take this down.
Mhm.
I think now after what we saw with Nate, he's got to be in the running there as well. Nate's going to take some creative lines and go after it, put his life on the line when he thinks it can work.
It's funny too that just about 20 minutes ago we saw Brian stepping up to the table and trying to solicit some action, wanted to bet on laser to take down this ship here.
Yep.
And he was speaking specifically, like directly to Nate. And it's funny that Nate took that huge pot from laser, a lot of chips, and now he's in the lead. I wonder if they actually solidified or codified that deal.
Rude, we got to take a second here and give a shout out to Timothy. He's going to take down a pot.
Hey,
Ace 10 of clubs. I'm sure he loves to see that. A playable hand and some chips coming his way. Nicely done, Timothy. Still right in the mix. One double up for Timothy, and he is second in chips as the stacks are currently. Back to the 5-3 offsuit. And as I was just saying a little bit ago, players are going to have to start opening up their ranges. And we see Nate here raising the 8-9 off in the cutoff. Actually, looks like he called. Okay, he called.
free flop for LeBron, who's been quiet for a bit. 10-9-4-2 spades. Open-ended straight draw for Tien with 2 overs, and Nate has middle pair.
Nate's going to start the betting. Bets half pot. 2 million chips. And now let's see how Tien wants to proceed. He's got a backdoor flush draw, 2 overs, and an open-ended straight draw. Second in chips to Nate, though, and he decides to just call, keep the pot small. Understandable.
LeBron's out of there. Ace of hearts brings a second flush draw.
Looks like Nate likes this turn card. Could get some better 9x to fold. Potentially get some 10x to fold here. And applies a lot of pressure to the second place chip stack. Is it enough to get Etienne to fold his open-ended straight draw?
I think I gotta see it. I gotta pay for the river.
Yeah, 3.5 million chips. The end would still have 27 million. Still be in really good shape.
He's also blocking both flush draws.
He's in there, Rude.
Mm-hmm. 4 diamonds is a brick
You're
for
bleeding me.
Tien.
600.
Okay. Back.
He just
Very
gives up on it.
nice.
Yep.
Showdown value for Nate brings a check, and that is good enough to win the pot. 15 million chip
All right,
pot.
guys, blinds are up.
Nate extends his
600,000,
lead.
1.2 million. 1.2 million ante.
As we can see, dealer Drew announcing blinds are up. Rude 1.2 million. They're getting big.
Nate is now up to 47 million.
You're probably calling me a fish.
We got some Nate fans in the chat. What's up there, Kara? Thanks for hanging out with us today. Hope you are enjoying the broadcast today. Nate's doing well.
Did they have like animal sounds? They're like.
Appreciate it. Cool.
Laser here with the Queen 8 off.
And they
Not a
got all-
not a bad hand. Comes in for the minimum raise, 2.4 million.
Whew.
LeBron's got a monster, Rude. Pocket
Golly,
kings. How's he going to play it?
again. The Kings again. Put some money in there. Oh, he just jams.
Oh, wow. It is about a 20 big blind jam now that blinds have gone up. But it's a lot of chips relative. He's
He's
going
been
to show
showing
the
his
kings.
hands quite a bit. Yeah, he's not shy about what he's doing. Maybe he's doing some advertising for later when he wants to make a little move.
I was just thinking that. You think, Rude, then with saying that, you think that some players would be doing that to try to get it jammed through later? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. I think he's. It's likely. It's likely that, or I mean, that's a possibility. It seems that he's. Again, I did play for quite a few hours with him. It does seem that he knows his way around the table. I think it's likely that he is doing it with a purpose, meaning he's got intentions. He's laying the groundwork, doing some advertising. Say, hey, look, when I jam or when I raise, it's always with the big hand.
Rude, I gotta say, nobody grinds harder than our coffee barista.
She is great. She makes you feel bad for not taking the sample.
I know, she's out there pushing
The free
coffee like no
samples.
other. Yep.
Yeah, she makes it. Got a lot of great amenities there at Rounders. You know, we've got that coffee bar. We've got the adult bar. We've got our grill, putting out some good food. Jacks for Nate. On Tien's raise, Tien has ace 9 suited. He makes it 3.6 mil to go. Jacks. What do you like here? 8 million. What's he going to come back with? He's going to 3-bet for sure.
Yeah, I think I like 8 million in this situation. It's kind of a spot where, since he's in position, he doesn't necessarily need to make it too big. So really, with jacks here, kind of want to leave your opponent some room to make a big mistake.
Yeah, he makes it 7.2 to go.
Oh, he just clicks him, yeah. So he does keep it small, minimum. Well, not quite. He could probably go a little bit smaller, actually. All right, we got a pot brewing, Rude. 16 million in the middle.
1 million more.
Tien taking on the chip leader.
All right, heads okay.
It's his ace. Ace 10 7. Nate with a continuation bet. Remember, he's got jacks. We can see that. Tien cannot see that.
Looks like it's about maybe 5 million, about a third of the pot, 5.5. How do you think the end's going to proceed with his ace X?
Well, a huge pot already. That's it. He's got 2 spades out there. I mean, just give me what's in the middle right now, and I'll just move along. I'll just go along my way. I just jam right now.
Yeah.
No reason to just to tempt anymore. Likely going to just shut down. Yep. Now, actions on 10. 27.2 million in the pot, and he's got 14 million behind. It's 0.5 SPR.
This is our biggest pot of the tournament right now. And I misspoke earlier. The positions I had backwards because now Nate is actually in the big blind. So I like the small sizing that he chose pre-flop less. But now he's got a decision. He has to decide here, Rude, whether or not Thien has an ace and just called in position there.
Yeah, Drew, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking at the minimum 8 million would have been a size for him to come back with, or maybe even more. Because you really want to charge somebody when you're out of position. Charge the opponent.
14.2 million.
All right. So now Nate gets the count 14.2 million.
Jersey.
If Nate
counting
were to
chips
call
out, so
here, he would have just under 20 million
least it's
chips,
not Kenny,
which
bro.
is still a fairly healthy chip stack.
Yeah, but those chips could come in handy.
Agreed. The thing to figure out here, Rude, I think, is did the end call the flop continuation bet with an ace on this board texture? That's what Nate is trying to figure out, because I think a lot of 2-pair sets are going to raise the flop here, be ready to put some chips in the middle a lot of the time. Of course, not all the time. But if Nate decides the end does not have an ace or 2-pair plus, I think he's going to make this call.
Yeah, he doesn't have to have an ace there, right? He could have what? King 10? Queen 10? Not Jack 10. He's blocking Jack 10. 9 10 of clubs, maybe?
I
Could have
personally
9, 10.
think the 10x hands are going to be happy to check here in position and try to get to showdown versus play an all-in pot versus
Yeah.
the other big chip stack at the table. So I personally would be discrediting Thien from having a 10 here. It really is
That's a
just
good
a
point.
situation. Does my opponent have an ace X?
It's an ace or nothing, huh? Ace or a bluff?
There we go. So we have a new chip leader for the first time at this final table at the end.
The kid.
Yeah, this
I
guy
don't know
messed
how
up
old he
bad
is,
jamming.
but he looks like a kid.
You know what I mean? He jams, you take you out of the game.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's tall, so.
Yeah.
The thing that he wanted me to be in here.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad play to call, but then when there's bounties, that you gotta jam right there.
And then he's got like,
Yeah, 'cause
almost
you're in some high school
only have
with the
like
bounty.
3 million left after that, but it's still like
So Chad, if you caught that there, Laser and Thien talking about the ace 10 suited, jack 10 suited versus deuce's hand earlier. And Laser saying that the ace 10 suited for sure with bounty should have just rejammed. And Thien confirmed, because we were wondering, Thien confirmed he probably would have folded if the ace 10 suited vocalized all in.
once the lights flash and turn to the blue
Mhm.
and red, then
cards are all good. Six.
Hello there, Miss Holly Bowie in the chat. How are you tonight?
Mike Wheeler wanted to know what bounties have been paid so far. Well, almost all of them, all but 5 have been paid out. And if you're asking about the $20,000 bounty, yes, that one's a goner. George Nino, our friend from Rounders, drew that one a few hours ago. The biggest bounty left is $1,000. We've already had the 20,000, 10,000, 2 $5,000 bounties, and then several $3,000 bounties already pulled.
Everyone currently at the final table right now has locked up $4,200 in this 200K mystery bounty free roll.
Timothy, I think this is going to be his second hand he's going to play at the final table. Ace King offsuit from the cutoff.
I like it. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's certified playable. Nate, Laser, folds, Tien, our new chip leader, newly crowned chip leader with 39 million chips, also makes the fold. And Timothy is going to scoop a little. I say small, but that's 6 million. 6 million chip pot.
Fact of the matter is, if everyone folds every time Timothy raises, Timothy could just stay alive and turn his 4,200 into over 12,000 second place. But then he's going to have to battle for that 20K first place prize. It's going to be a big heads up match, Rude. I'm excited for it. $7,500 heads up match.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're good. No,
Assuming,
I'll let you
assuming, Rude,
Assuming
that our
they get
players
down,
do
get
not
out.
do some sort of a chop, because
Yeah,
do you remember? Could you believe it?
means
The
I was
100K
noticing
final
you always
table.
changing
What
like
did they
that, and I was
chop?
like,
Seven-handed or
I don't know.
something?
I think it was 7 ways, 7-way chop. But it was weird. They were all evenly, pretty evenly distributed chips, with large-ish blinds. And I think you and I probably I know for sure we assumed that things were going to progress rapidly once that deal was made. But my goodness, if it didn't slow down once they got to 3-handed,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they just kept switching, trading chips. Jack 9-7 with a 5 on the turn brings the second club. That's, I don't know if you noticed, but there is a straight in LeBron's hand. He's waiting for Laser to get out of line. He just folds his ace king. And again, LeBron shows his hand.
Thank God I had ace king, not like
Did you hear that, Rude?
Yeah,
maybe
Laser's
check it
thinking
back
his
twice.
lucky stars. He had ace king and not,
that board's just too dangerous. Like
Kings.
I don't know,
you
ace
need
jack.
if
Yeah,
a face
he
card
didn't
comes
want to
on
have
the
like an
turn,
overpair there.
then I can start trying to bet, but I just totally whipped.
Blinds are 600,
I figured you needed to catch up
600,000,
a little bit.
1.2 million.
Yeah,
Maybe zip it
that would have been bad. I caught up a little.
a lot more.
Our shorter stacks there, you can see Timothy and Laser
I mean, unless
have
like a 10
under
and then an
15
8,
bigs.
you know?
But again,
Or a
one
10 and then
double
a
up
queen,
from
which
just
is
under
it.
chip lead.
That
It's
would've been
anyone's
okay
game.
catch up for me. A 10 and then a queen.
Did the dog hang out on stream?
He's already famous.
He's already famous.
Huh? I mean, that thing's a boy.
LeBron in the small blind with the 7-6 offsuit. Versus Timothy here. I would imagine he's just going to call, maybe even put in a small raise.
2.5. Yeah, and he'll just chill.
Drew Chronic wants to know if you're at home or at the venue.
What's up there, Chronic? I am remote. I am remote here. I am at home. Rude and I are doing commentary from the comfort of our offices at home, thanks to our nice new setup, which is very nice.
The wonders of technology.
The wonders of
I call it.
technology. I love it. 2023. Let's go, huh?
Me remote too.
I see a comment in the chat says I need to learn from Laser. He has folded some very big second best hands. I agree. I think we all can. It sucks folding, but when you can find those folds in the right spots, it is quite rewarding.
And his girl, I think fiance Nancy, I believe, is in the chat also. Nancy Hoon. Go Laser, go. A little earlier, she was shouting her man out.
There she is.
Yep, there she is.
Rude, you know what? I see Timothy
Timothy
raking in another
moving
pot.
up.
I'm just saying, man, I'm starting to believe.
He's sitting over there in the corner minding his own business, but you know what? Slowly but surely, staying alive.
That's the name of the game, Rude, isn't it? Staying alive. Finding your
Yes.
spots.
It's also a really good song from the 70s.
Finding your
You'll have
spots?
to take my word for it. No, Staying
Oh,
Alive.
okay. I was going to say, I believe the other one too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Finding Your Spots.
Yeah.
Is that by the Leopards?
Maybe it's the GBs. BGs, Staying Alive, the GBs, Finding Your Spots. LeBron's going to come in with the 2.5 million raise. Sitting in the cutoff. Timothy snap folds the Queen Jack. Laser's going to let go of the King 3.
Snap folds the Queen Jack.
And you know what's interesting is Laser was playing a big stack so good, and now we get an opportunity to see how Laser's going to play his shorter stack. He had
Good point.
Yep, about 13 million he's got. Yeah, Laser's got 13 million. So he's got about 11 blinds. Not as fun a stack to play. But thinking back, we had that huge hand versus Nate, where Nate bluffed him on the river when the straight came in. That was a massive situation for Laser, and that kind of put him on his heels for a minute. We'll see if he can bounce back.
Yeah, I think.
You're good.
Rude, don't deprive the chat. What do you think?
I don't want to say. I'm not sure I want to say out loud.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say I'm afraid that play might have cost me some money.
That's funny.
My personal billfold. I don't mind telling you. I really, by looking at the lineup and the chip counts, I really liked Laser's chances of winning this, of taking this ship down.
I still like Laser's chances. Knowing his skill level, even on these short stacks, being able to play a short stack in tournament poker is a skill that not a lot of people talk about.
Yeah, greens are 2 checks.
But it is very, very important.
10, 20.
Look at this flop here. Queen Jack 9 with 2 diamonds.
Oh shit! Never mind. Yeah.
Okay, Timothy's going to jam.
A little over 30.
Yeah, a little over
With top
30.
pair.
Probably 35.
Top kicker.
Because you have 26. And
He's
then
got
you have
hearts,
like 5 and
backdoor
5 million,
hearts.
so 31.
Nate's got bottom pair, but he's open-ended. And Tien has 8s. He's also in the hand. Now he's blocking. He's got a lot of cards that Nate could use.
Ooh, Nate's going for it.
Re-jams. He is going for it. He's gonna shut Tien out.
Tien says, hold
Tien
on,
wants to
Rude.
know what the cost. Yeah, he wants to know what the price is, but there's no way he can make it.
Nate is
As you look away,
does
I
not
reach
know
over.
that Tien is folding 2 of his outs if and when he does fold. We got a big pot going. This is a mystery bounty tournament, everyone. So there's some additional money to be won. The biggest bounty that remains is a $1,000 bounty. And there go the 8s into the muck. We're off to the races, Rude.
Yep.
Timothy.
Go. It's a pretty close race, actually.
Yep. 58% for Timothy, 42% for Nate. Which the 42% looks like it is calculating. You can see in the top left the outs for Nate.
5 of spades on the turn is a blank. And Drew, what did you say just a few minutes ago? What did you say about Timothy?
Rude, I'm telling you,
He's just inching along, and boom, big flip.
I have these tournament flow, these vibes when you see somebody start to catch some momentum, and nobody's thinking about Timothy over here. Timothy's just 9, 8, 7 players left, 6 players left, 5 players left. Then he wins 3 hands in a row. Now he gets this huge double. He's got 36 million in chips. I'm pretty sure Timothy is now our new chip leader. And it happens just like that.
Just like that. Especially in a multi-way pot like that. He gets it's not just a double up.
I didn't realize he had that much shit. Thank God he didn't shove all in when he popped in. Let him shove on in.
Ooh wee. All right. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, Timothy's up at 36.5 million. Nate is down to 14 million. Timothy and LeBron are both pretty much their tie. They're neck and neck. Oh, look at, and Tien is still at 34 million. We've got a 3-way race right now.
Some cards, sacrifice my own image for
I sacked him.
Timothy got to be feeling good at this point, Rude.
a bunch of mistakes.
Oh yeah, he's breathing a big sigh of relief. Laser on the button with Queen 8 offsuit. Still raising.
Yep, I like it. And
He's got 10 big blinds.
honestly, I think this just goes to show Laser's experience, and just reiterates what I was saying earlier, being able to play on these short stacks and being able to ninja through some of these spots. Raising here from the button on 10 bigs, as you said, into these other players who are not rejamming correctly, it is definitely an option that should be considered. Whereas if you're up against some tough opponents who are going to be reshoving on you correctly and putting you in a bunch of tough situations, I think we might have saw Laser jam the button, but he recognizes the spot. He raises it up. Does get a call from the 8-5. Wow.
Oh, this is going to be spicy.
Yep.
LeBron makes the call with 8-5. He's flop top pair. He checks his action over to Laser, who also has top pair with a better kicker. 6.6 million in the pot. Laser bets. What is that? 3 million?
I think it's right around 3 million, about half pot. I would imagine at this point, Laser's setting up to jam turn. It's like 3.3.
Nailed it. 3.3 million. Good eye. You should have been an umpire.
I have umped one Little League game before. Rude.
Got aces, right?
Oh, look. Here you go. LeBron playing back at him. He raises.
Laser's funny. He's like, you got aces, right? All right. Top pair versus top pair. Laser is at risk. Butt ahead.
There's LeBron.
LeBron needs
pushing the aggression.
a 5 only to knock out Laser here.
Oh, it is a 5 on the
I was
river.
like,
Oh my goodness.
Dang. GG's.
Golly.
GG's in the chat, everyone, to Laser.
Good playing.
Laser played great, honestly. Nothing else to
Yep.
say outside of that. Laser played great. There was one pot where he made, even though it was the incorrect fold, I think it was a good fold versus a lot of players. He just got unlucky that Nate decided to take a crafty line versus him. But with that said,
Yeah,
now
I agree,
He
Drew.
looks like he wants to talk.
I think let's go ahead and cap this off. Yeah, so we're gonna lose Laser. Laser's out of 5th place. Points 2K, $4,200 plus the bounties he
ICM chop and you got all
gathered.
that?
now everyone's locked up at least 5,500. But I heard those words, Rude. Did you hear them?
Yeah, we're gonna have
I
to play this
heard
hand out.
Okay.
I heard the words, the letters,
I'm just
ICM
small blind, right?
Yes, 600,000.
and chop.
They're playing the same. Once I deal a hand, they
Got the words chop have been brought up.
It's not confirmed. Fold.
They are four-handed. Let's see if they decide to explore this avenue more. LeBron with a commanding chip lead now, 49 million in chips.
I was about to shove. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the last bounty that they need to clear.
Oh, I do.
That's because then it's gonna be an even chop of whatever bounties are remaining.
Oh, okay.
If they decide to chop,
They gotta get
3 and
the
5.
thing.
then they're gonna chop the bounties as well.
Well, I mean, shit, it's good money.
Yeah, really good money. I mean,
$200
that's like a bonus on top of what we're getting. 500. Let's go. No, let's go, baby.
So it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we are on a little bit of a pause. We got some celebrations going. They are, I believe, about to discuss some ICM numbers.
Can we see both of them? Like a chip chop and a ICM? Yeah. The same thing?
ICM is
ICM based
intermediary chip count.
Yeah, okay.
All right, for the bounties that are left are 2 300s and 2 100s. So if you agree with them, you're just gonna get
You know, like
Quick question: do we play out for
Just
first, or
listen
is
in.
it just a
we're just gonna end.
okay? Gotcha.
So it looks like we just are hearing that there is
$1,000
about 800 in
for
bounties
first?
remaining.
So $1,000 for first. Play it out.
How much?
Started
Well, it favors the short side.
already straight.
It's as we're 2.1.
What do you think, chat? Four-handed here in this mystery bounty free roll. Stacks are relatively even. Are you going to chop? What do you think? I guess it might depend on how much you are invested. But let's see some thoughts in the chat while they are checking chip counts.
4 players left.
Rude, do you like the
Checking,
idea of a
yep.
chop right here? Four-handed. What do you think?
You said these are 2, right?
You know, I don't know, man.
Here's the payouts, Rude. Take a look at the payouts. You're four-handed.
Payouts,
5,500
look,
locked
it's
up.
20,000. From first to second, it's almost twice. It's almost 2x.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you in for? How much did you invest?
Right.
I mean, what I'm thinking is, even if you get you're 4-handed right now.
800. 36.
If you, I think it's just one of those situations with the buy-in for the tournament. I think this is one of those where you just want to go for it.
Yep. I feel that. Well, let me ask you this, Rude, because I do think a rough guess is with chips, if they're fairly even, I believe Nate might be one of the shorter stacks. LeBron in the chip lead. There's a scenario where instead of getting 5,500, 2 to 3 of these players could lock up a 5-figure score, potentially an additional $7,000, which is pretty massive if you think about this being a free roll where some players may only be in for less than $100.
Yeah. But it's locked up. They're there right now. You know, with a minimal buy-in, they're guaranteed $5,500.
Uh-huh.
33,
Yep.
But
33,
you know, with
33
a little bit of luck, a little bit of run good, maybe you like your edge.
Mhm.
36 right here.
We
I
There's
already verified.
20,000 up
So
top.
10, 20, 30, 36, 40,
I don't know. I don't
40, 45,
typically I don't want to
45,
be the guy who says
47,
no. I'm the only one who doesn't want to
47,
chop
48.
because that's the guy who's going to go out
48,
next. That's what.
48, 9.
That's just kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Drew?
You know what? If I was
If you're on
sitting,
the if you're at the table,
if I'm at the
All right.
table
you're at the
here,
table
Tim-
and you're in the middle.
let's hear what we got.
12,330. Nathaniel 8610. Ian 11,920. LeBron 13,640.
So there you go, chat. Those are the payouts based on their remaining chip stacks.
Good. You good?
Thumbs up if you're good.
Everybody's happy with that.
Tournament over, guys. Congratulations. Sit tight for a while. It's going to take us some time to get ready and
They're
reorganize. You will, guys. You will have to fill out some tax forms.
All right, we'll let them.
Yeah.
They've got some administrative work to do.
Congratulations to
GG
our
the
4
final
players.
table.
That was what I was really concerned about.
So I got the numbers in case you missed them there, everyone. Let me read them back. So now LeBron in seat 9 is going to be taking home $13,640, which, if we look at the payouts, is more than second place money. Though he had first place chips, he does not have to play anymore, locks up an additional $8,000 roughly. And then in seat 2,
Fill out these tax forms.
we have
There might be
Tim.
something around.
Tim is taking home the second biggest amount, 12,330, almost second place money. And then we have seat 6, which is at the end there. You can see in the back, the end is going to take home $11,920. So now 3 players end up getting a 5-figure score. And then seat 3, Nate is going to take home a little bit more than third place money, $8,610. Our players here, everybody, from 1,796 entries, the final 4 players agree on a chop plus 200 additional Rude because of the remaining mystery bounties that they chopped as well.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Well, I gotta say, this was really this was an entertaining final table. I like the format. I'll have you. I want you guys to know that our typical free roll, the format goes pretty fast, right?
Yep.
But in this case, the blind levels escalated, meaning now, of course, the blind levels went up, but the length of the levels went up also. Right? When early on, they're 15-minute levels, then they go to 20-minute levels,
Yep.
then 25, then 30,
LeBron has
and
the
so
most
on.
chips, so.
So it kind of, once you got further and further into the tournament,
36? Okay,
you
yeah.
got a little bit more time to
Mhm.
make some plays and to be a little bit more patient, and maybe you don't have to rely on the variance quite so much.
Correct. It does help the adjusting format that Rounders has developed to make the free roll what it is, because a lot of the free rolls the majority of the free rolls are all 15-minute blinds, but in these bigger free rolls, especially 200K guaranteed, blinds go up after late registration and then at the final table. So it allows for our players to have some room. And honestly, though there were some short stacks going into this final table, I think that there was plenty of play. We saw some awesome unorthodox lines and some different moves that some found some success, some didn't. And now we have 4 players here who navigated through a huge field. They got some 5-figure scores, and we got to enjoy it all from the comfort of our homes, everyone.
Drew, you mentioned an unorthodox line. The one that stands out to me is probably the biggest hand. I think probably one of the biggest hands, as far as definitely as far as Laser's tournament life is concerned.
Mhm.
He gave up a lot of chips to Nate.
Yep. Yeah.
What do you think about that, the way that played out? Like you touched on it earlier. You said you believe that Laser made the right fold at the time, but he was reacting to Nate's line, to Nate's move, and it was a move.
Correct. I think both
But it
players.
was. But would you say that it was like a preconceived notion that he had? Like he just decided he was going to do it regardless of what cards, how the cards interacted with what he had. Was he taking into consideration blockers
I
or?
think Rude. I think that Nate he took some time on the turn to think about what was going on, and I believe that he decided if the river comes X, I'm doing this. If the river comes Y, I'm doing this. And the river came, and he went all in. So I believe that he had pre-decided that he was going to go all in on some sketchy rivers and try to represent a hand and get Laser to fold, and it worked out. But again, I think both players played their hands good. Nate check called two
Yeah,
big bets in a very tough situation with the best hand, and then when he happened to have the worst hand, he went all in and made the best hand fold. But the best hand that folded from Laser was still, versus population and versus most players, a good fold. So it was just really a tough spot and a very, very interesting hand. I am
it was.
sure that we are going to see that on our YouTube channel. So let me, as we're wrapping up this tournament, everyone, please, if you enjoyed the stream, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe channel on YouTube so that you know when those highlights come out, and also so that you get notifications when we do our next stream, which will be this coming Thursday. We will keep you posted. And the highlights, you can go over to rounderscardclub.com/rounders tonight to check out some of our past highlights, our upcoming highlights, and also to find the Rounders Card Club socials. And before we let you go, we got one more big announcement, everyone. The South
Oh,
Texas Poker
yes.
Championship starts
Yes, it's here
tomorrow, Rude, Monday.
tomorrow.
The very first event. It is a 30K monster stack. It is a trophy event, 15 trophy events, over 1.5 million in guaranteeds. You need to get out here to the club. We have some well-known poker players and celebrities that are going to be coming through for the mystery bounties, the 750K main event. And this is the second annual South Texas Poker Championship. And I think it's going to be even bigger than the last route. I'm super excited to play in this event.
Oh, I think so too, Drew. I mean, we had people traveling from all over the place just for this tournament, the one that just ended, the $200,000 guarantee.
Correct.
Imagine who's going to be coming through this entire month.
Correct.
We've got some big tournaments, 15 really good tournaments coming up.
Correct.
People travel to Vegas, they travel to, out of state to try to catch some WSOP events, some circuit events. This is a big event that's going on here, so
Correct. So
come on in, come through.
Yep. We hope to see you out there. But that's all we got for today, Rude. So we are going to let you all go chat. Enjoy the rest of your evening. From everyone here at Rounders Tonight, Rounders Card Club, I am Drew. This is my man, Rude.
I'm Rude.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.